Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We start briefly on the daily time frame. Just want to share with you here again this key 43k level that needs to hold. Yeah, so we should not break above that to maintain the white wave count. Okay, the white wave scenario is basically the wave count or scenario we've been talking about for many weeks. It's this 1-2 setup in which a wave 2 pullback should happen, ideally before breaking above 43k. Well, if it doesn't show, I mean, the market doesn't have to do it, right? But if it doesn't show, we're basically morphing into another scenario. At the moment, I've got 3 scenarios on the chart, but they're only for let's say visualization purposes, because they're not all being followed at the same time. As I explained in yesterday's video, at the moment, I'm basically just watching the white count. But a break above 43k will cause me to take the white count off the chart. And a break above 43k will mean that we're either in the yellow or the orange count. So it's just 2 scenarios really at the time we're looking at, which is quite straightforward. In the orange wave count, which again will only become the focus above 43k, we can go up quite quickly to 50k, maybe even 59k. Also in the yellow count. The difference is how does the market respond to the next, let's say, to the next pullback, okay? How does the next pullback look like? That will differentiate between the orange and the yellow counts, and then we can make a clear call which one it likely is. Having only orange and yellow on the chart will make it straightforward because we can just track, as you can see, the orange wave count is made up of waves 3s and 4s. And because wave 4s have typically very clearly defined support areas, we can simply track support, and if we break them, it's likely yellow. I explained them in yesterday's video, so feel free to check that out for more context. But yeah, there were a couple of comments, oh, so many scenarios. Well, first of all, it's only 3 anyway, out of the infinity of possibilities the market can take anyway. So I think 3 is pretty good, condensing probabilities down to just 3. But actually, it's not 3. It's not even 3. It's just 1 as long as we stay below 43k. And we expect another high in that scenario anyway. And above 43k, it's orange and yellow. So it's really just 2, which is really good. You can't do it any better, really, because you should always have an alternative anyway. So it's a pretty clear chart, in my opinion. That's just as an introduction. So quite a bullish structure still. The white wave count, again, is not a reasonable assumption anymore above 43k. So I would still prefer a pullback before we break above that level. But obviously the trend is still up. And as I said to you, at the same time, we just need to let the market tell us what's going on. There's no point saying, okay, I'd like to see the white count. The market needs to do it, right? The market doesn't care. So it's not about the market needs to follow a count. The market, we have the different scenarios. Okay, and if we see the market is doing something different than, for example, the white count, then we've got our plan in place for orange and yellow. The key is that the analysis tells us when we are moving from one scenario into another one. Strategically, I took some profits of my shorter time frame positions. I'm still holding my core position, still holding my hodl position. Yeah, not touching them at the moment. And I'm going to sit through them. They only spot, so I'm not touching them. And I'm committed to them. And I will take some profits on my core positions if we go considerably higher, but we're not there yet, okay? Because the yellow count and also the orange count, they can move to 50k, I think it's still reasonable to hold a core position, yeah? That's just sort of my take. But everybody has their individual levels. Depends on what your average cost is. Depends on your risk profile. There's so much going into this. I can really only share what I'm doing. And yeah, the analysis doesn't necessarily tell you when to buy or sell. That will be a mixture of, yeah, the analysis, your trading skill, your portfolio, your time frame, your risk appetite, and so much more. Your average cost. It could be perfectly reasonable for someone to still get a tiny position here if that person doesn't have any position, whereas someone who bought throughout the bear market, doesn't necessarily want to drive up their average cost, okay? So that's where we all are different in terms of our individual position in the market. Okay, let's go to the shorter time frame count. Here we don't really, still tracking here the white count on the 1 hour time frame. So we've had our rally into the 41 to 42K region. Market yesterday listened here to one of our support areas. We've basically arrived where we wanted to be like weeks ago. We have our extension in wave 5 of 1. The extension now looks also pretty full. Okay, it looks pretty full. What does it mean? That means that even in this 5th wave, we're nearly there with the micro count completed. So I wouldn't have any problems if we now start to break below support at some point, but it's not happened yet, and I will not call a top in place until we break the first micro support. So that's what I mean. You know, it doesn't matter if it's the orange count, the yellow, or the white one. At the moment, the shorter time frame structures still suggest continuation higher because we haven't even broken the first micro support levels. Okay, so that's where they don't. You know, it doesn't really matter which scenario. You know, it doesn't matter to me if we go up in white, yellow, or orange. That you know, the scenario still suggests further upside. So we're gonna follow that. And the key support, as explained in yesterday's video, is still at 40,490. So as long as that level is holding, one more high is expected. It could be that we are still here in the smaller degree 5th wave of 3. Because this might have just been an overshooting wave within here wave 4. Okay. Or we are already in circle wave 4. But then I would like to see a little bit more of a pronounced wave 4. It's a little bit more stretched out and also a little deeper, maybe hitting 40,930. So that's what the day will show us. Does it matter? No, because 40,490, that support, should capture both scenarios. Yeah? And as long as we're holding 40,490, one more high would be anticipated to possibly 42,670 or even 43K, but we're very close to the top in the wave 1. Wave 1 in white must not break and sustain above 43K. Okay, it must not. What doesn't mean the market couldn't do it, but then it would be the orange or the yellow scenarios. Okay, and it will take the white count off the chart. So yeah, this is my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Here you can find additional content every single day. And if you're interested in daily video updates about the S&P 500 stocks and shares, then check out our stocks and S&P 500 service. You can find the link as well in the description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.